Chant and dance as much as possible in this human form of life.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, before I begin, I would want to express my heartfelt obeisances and gratitude at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and at the lotus feet of my Holy Spiritual Master Sri Srimad Srila Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj. Whatever I would be presenting are from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and from the lectures of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada and my spiritual master. So if there is something nice and something favorable that comes up, the credit goes to our predecessor acharyas. And if there is some fault, definitely I will make fault because I'm a conditioned soul. So if there are any faults, I kindly request devotees to please forgive me. And also before I begin, I would want to dedicate this whole lecture, whatever the credits we get from discussing the glories of Sri Krishna in the form of Harikatha, I would want to give the credits for the quick recovery of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. And finally, I want to express my gratitude to all the admins and organizers of this event for kindly considering me worthy enough to speak something that is in line with our Gaudiya Siddhanta and pleasing to the ears of our predecessor acharyas. In this mode, please accept my very humble obeisances. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So, as we know that yesterday was the most auspicious occasion of Ekadashi, also called as Ashadha Ekadashi if we are in Maharashtra, and in the rest of the world it is addressed as Shayana Ekadashi. And this Ekadashi, apart from being celebrated in various parts of the world for different reasons, one of the main reasons why this Ekadashi is very special is because it marks the first day of this 4-month Chaturmas period. It is believed that in this 4 months, Lord Vishnu goes to take rest. So Shayana means to take rest. So Vishnu yesterday, it is believed that he has gone to take rest. So every month, as we know, there are different rules and regulations that we follow. In the first month, we refrain from eating green leafy vegetables, while in the second month, it is another foodstuff, while in the third month, it is something else. And then finally, all the 3 months build up for the 4th month, which is considered the most auspicious, the month of Kartik. Now, why is Kartik's month so special? Well, it is special for the fact that the whole month is a dedication to Srimati Radharani. Apart from the various festivals that we celebrate in the month of Kartik, in the form of Govardhan Puja and the appearance day and disappearance day of so many other acharyas, the main reason why this month is so special is because this month is dedicated to the beautiful pastime of a supremely worshipable devotee, that is Mother Yasoda, binding her son Sri Krishna. The divine robes of her mother, that is Krishna's mother, bound Krishna. That Krishna, who cannot be bound even by the munis and yogis, was bound by the ropes, by the loving divine ropes of his mother. So, in the allotted time that we have, in an hour's discussion, we would be discussing not the pastime, because pastime is something which devotees are very much familiar with, but in the 1 hour's time that we have, we would be discussing, we would be trying to dive deep into the epic narration in the form of verses that Satyavrata Muni has given us. Every month or every Kartik, each and every day, morning, afternoon and evening, we celebrate this pastime of Krishna being bound by the ropes of his mother by singing these 8 verses called as Damodarashtakam. So Ashtakam means 8 and Damodar is that form of the Lord who was bound to the wooden grinding mortar. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, to be precise, he says that this month is very much special. Of all the festivals that we celebrate in this month, Damodar is the most special. Also for the fact that this festival or this pastime took place on a very special day. It took place on the day of Diwali. As we know, Diwali is already special for the fact that it has connections with Sri Ram. That was the day Sri Ram returned back to Ayodhya after being in exile for more than 14 years. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says this pastime of Krishna being bound by the ropes of his mother's pure love took place on the day of Diwali. So this day of Diwali is very much special for 2 reasons. First reason, Sri Ram came back to Ayodhya, and the second reason being the Supreme Lord in the form of Krishna was bound by the ropes of his mother. So these 8 verses comprise the whole pastime of Krishna being bound, right from the first verse till the 8th verse. And every pastime goes higher in rasa, it goes higher in bliss. The first verse starts off with what the pastime is all about, while the last verse, the penultimate verse, ends with how the 2 trees, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, were delivered by the Supreme Lord. So in 8 verses, in a very concise manner, in a nutshell, Satyavrata Muni has given this whole pastime, and that is one of the reasons why we chant this narration in every Kartik, every day of the 30-day period. So in the 1 hour's time that we have, I thought of discussing on the very first verse of this 8 verses of Satyavrata Muni, because always we get the chance of singing the glories of the Supreme Lord in the form of Damodarashtakam, but seldom do we get a chance to speak on the verses of Satyavrata Muni. So today we would be discussing the very first verse of the Damodarashtakam prayers. Namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam lasat-kundalam gokule bhrājamanam yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānam parāmr atyantato drutya gopyā. We are all very familiar with these 8 verses, right from a young child to an adult. Everyone is very much familiar with all the 8 verses, and most devotees around the world have them by heart. They have them on the tip of their tongue. So we would be breaking down this verse and trying to understand what Satyavrata Muni is trying to explain. And for this, we would be taking help of Srila Prabhupada's commentary to the Bhagavatam and also commentaries of predecessor acharyas, and we would be coupling that with the lectures of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So the first line, Namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. Now this line talks about something called as the Tattva. It talks about the Tattva Vishesh of the Supreme Lord. Who is Sri Krishna? What is his position? What are his attributes? so on and so forth. So the first line, that is namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam, it talks about tattva vishesh. Now we go to the next line, that is lasat-kundalam gokule bhrājamanam. Now the second line, we split that into two. We will be speaking that in two sections. So lasat-kundalam talks about the roop vishesh of Sri Krishna. It talks about the form of Sri Krishna. While gokule bhrājamanam, it talks about the parivar vishesh. Who are the family members of Sri Krishna? Where does Sri Krishna live? What does he do? Etc. So the first line, just to reiterate, the first line, that is namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam, it talks about the tattva vishesh of the Supreme Lord, while the second line, lasat-kundalam, talks about the roop vishesh, that is the form of the Lord, and gokule bhrājamanam, that talks about the parivar vishesh of the Supreme Lord. Now we go to the last two lines. yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānam parāmr atyantato drutya gopyā. So the last two lines talks about the Leela part of the Supreme Lord. So we would be breaking our discussion down. First we would be speaking about the tattva. Then we would be describing where Krishna lives, what he does. Then we would be going on to the form of the Supreme Lord. And finally, we would touch the pastime of the Supreme Lord and what we can learn from this pastime. Sri Krishna is bound by only one thing, that is love. Sri Krishna, the only thing that he's looking for us is love in our heart. Sri Krishna doesn't want anything from us, because each and everything, right from money, fame, recognition, wealth, prestige, these things Krishna has in abundance. How much ever we possess, Krishna has in abundance. He has better than us. So these things cannot bind Krishna's heart. These things do not attract Krishna's heart. The 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful verse that comes up. Shukadeva Goswami says, Evam sandarshita anga harina britya vashyatam swavashena api krishnena yasyedam sa ishwaram vashe. He says this Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has one quality, he has one attribute. What is that attribute? Bhritya vashyatam. He comes under the control of his pure devotees. That is the only way to control him. To such an extent, Shukadeva Goswami says, Sa Ishwaram Vashe, even the Ishwar, like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Agni, Vayu, etc., even they are not able to control the Supreme Lord, but the Supreme Lord, Bhritya Vashyatam, he comes under the control of only his pure devotees. This same point, Srila Vrindavan Thakur makes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, when he is describing the beautiful pastime of Kolavecha Sridhar. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Kolavecha seva kara dekhya bhagya sima, Brahma shiva kandhe yara dekhiya mahima, O dhane jane panditye Krishna nahi pai, Kevala bhakti ravasa Chaitanya Gosai. Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he says, Kolavecha seva kara dekhya bhagya sima. He says, oh, just look at the glories of Kolavecha Sridhar. Why? Brahma Shiva Kandhe Yara Dekhiya Mahima. Brahma and Shiva are looking at the glories of Kolavecha Sridhar because the Supreme Lord as Nimai is battling, is speaking sweet words, is associating so much with Kolavecha Sridhar that even the demigods don't get the supreme fortune. They don't get the saubhagya. Dekhiya Mahima. They are seeing the glories and their tears are pouring from their eyes. Tears are flowing from their eyes. Then Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Dhane jane panditye Krishna nahi pai. Oh, your dhana, your wealth, your jana, your followers, and your panditya, your intelligence, Krishna nahi pai. They can never get Krishna. They can never help you bind Krishna. So now the question arises, then what is that thing that will help us get Krishna? Kevala bhakti ravasa Chaitanya Gosai. Oh, well, it is only bhakti. Krishna is looking only for bhakti in our heart and nothing else. Krishna doesn't want our dhana, jana, pandite. He doesn't want anything, but he only wants bhakti. As Srila Radhanath Maharaj beautifully says, Krishna smells the fragrance in our heart in the form of bhakti. If we have bhakti, then Krishna is ready to embrace us. But if our heart is filled with everything but devoid of bhakti, that is something that doesn't attract Sri Krishna. So namāmīśvaram, when Satyavrata Muni is saying namāmīśvaram, someone can have this doubt that is this pastime between a normal mother of this world and a normal child? Satyavrata Muni says no. Namāmīśvaram, he is Ishwar, he is Bhagavan. He starts off this narration by making it absolutely crystal clear, by letting everyone know that Krishna, this pastime of Krishna being bound, is not a mere mortal being bound by his mother. He is Ishwar. So the first word he uses is namāmīśvaram. He is making it very clear. Whatever I'm going to say ahead in the form of the Damodarashtakam prayers, it describes the Supreme Lord. It doesn't describe a child of this world. His pastimes are childlike, but he is not a child. He is not a child of this world. So Satyavrata Muni makes it very clear. He says namāmīśvaram. And then he says sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. What is his tattva? What is his mukhya characteristic? What is his main characteristic? Sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. So he says namāmīśvaram, he is God, and his characteristic is sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. Full of knowledge, full of bliss, very beautiful, so on and so forth. So he says his mukhya characteristic, main characteristic is sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam, and his position is that of God. Now this sac-cid-ānanda form is very difficult or very astonishing. Why? Because Bilva Mangala Thakur, he says, he gives an analogy, or he, out of his realization, he makes a very brilliant point. He says, Yatroma randra pariputi vibhava daksha varaha janmani babuharamis samudra tvam namanatha aravinda drisham yaśodā panir dvayantam snapayam babuha. Shri Bilva Mangala Thakur, he says, Yat Roma Randra Paribhuti Vibhava Daksha. He is describing Varahadev. And in particular, what is he describing about Varahadev? He is describing the pore of Varahadev, the hair pore of Varahadev. He says, what is the characteristic of the hair pore of Varahadev? Yat Roma Randra Paribhuti Vibhava Daksha Varaha Janmani Babuha Ramis Samudra. Bilva Mangala Thakur says the characteristic of Varahadev's hair pore is if you take the water of all the oceans of this world. We have the Atlantic Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and so many oceans and seas around the world. Bilva Mangala Thakur says if you take all these oceans, the water of all these oceans are taken, and if they're poured in the hair pore of Varahadev, then what is his characteristic? Yat Roma Randra Paribhuti Vibhava Daksha Varaha Janmani Babuha Ramis Samudra. He says, if all the water is poured into the hair pore of Varahadev, still the water doesn't overflow. That is the characteristic of his hair pore. Now we can imagine if all the water is poured into the hair pore of Varahadev and if it still doesn't overflow, how gigantic will the form of Varahadev will be? How huge the form will be? If the water of this world is taken and poured on his hair pore, and if that doesn't overflow, we can imagine how huge he will be. But now, Bilva Mangala Thakur very beautifully, he says, Yat Roma Randra Paribhuti Vibhava Daksha Varaha Janmani Babuha Ramis Samudra Tvam nama natha aravinda drisham yaśodā panir dvayantam snapayam babuha. He says, now let me describe Krishna. Who is that Krishna? He says, when this Varahadev comes as Sri Krishna, the same Supreme Lord as Varahadev, when he comes down as Sri Krishna, his bath is done in one palmful of water. Snapayam babuha. In one palmful of water, his bath is done. He says this is such a paradox. It is so difficult and so astonishing to even comprehend, because when he comes as Varahadev, all the ocean water is taken and still it doesn't overflow when it's poured in the hair pour. But when he comes as Krishna, one palmful of water Mother Yasoda puts on Krishna and Krishna's bath is done. So he says Krishna is very difficult to understand. How can we understand Krishna? Through our senses. So that is why our predecessor acharyas, they make this point that to understand Krishna, it is very important to be connected to a sampradaya. It is very important to follow in the footsteps of the predecessor acharyas who are finally connected to Krishna or eventually connected to Sri Krishna. With our own individual endeavor, we can never understand Krishna. But if you are connected to a proper sampradaya, if you are connected to a proper channel of knowledge, then Krishna reveals about himself in the devotee's heart. So now the question arises, why is Krishna coming down? What is the purpose of Krishna's descent? What does Krishna want to acquire when he comes down? Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami answers these questions in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. Rupa Raghunath Pade Yahara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. So in the mood of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, we would also want to express our gratitude to Rupa and Raghunath before speaking or before touching the works of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Purve jena prithivira bhara hori bare Krishna avatirna hoila shastrate prachare. He says, what is the reason for Krishna's descent? Well, Krishna comes down for bhara hori bare. He comes down to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. And who is saying this? Shastrate prachare. The Shastras do the prachar. They are preaching this point that Krishna comes down to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. Swayam Bhagavanera karma nahi bhara haran sthiti karta Vishnu karena jagata palan. But Kaviraj Goswami says, but interesting point to note here is Swayam Bhagavanera karma nahi bhara haran. To reduce the burden of Mother Earth is not the responsibility of the Supreme Lord. Well, he comes down to reduce the burden, but that is not the main purpose why he comes down. So who does the job of reducing the burden on Mother Earth? Swayam Bhagavanera karma nahi bharaharan sthiti karta Vishnu karena jagata palan. It is the job of sthiti karta. It is the job of the maintainer. Who's the maintainer? Vishnu. So Kaviraj Goswami says it is the job of Vishnu to reduce the burden on Mother Earth. Krishna doesn't have to come down for that. Vishnu can do that. Kintu Krishnera jay hoy avatar kal bhara haran kalatate hoy la mishal. But now a problem arose. What was that problem? When Krishna wanted to come down, the same time even Vishnu wanted to come down. So there was a mishal, there was a mixture. What was the mixture? Well, the mixture was Vishnu wanted to come down to reduce the burden on Mother Earth, while at the same time Krishna wanted to come down to experience the sweetness of the pastimes of the residents of Vrindavan. He wanted to relish the love of the Brajavasis. So there was a mishal, there was a mixture. Vishnu and Krishna both wanted to come down at the same time. So now the question arises, what should be done? Both the lords have to come down at the same time, and it is important for both the lords to descend for different purposes. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Athaiva Vishnu Takhan Krishnera Sharire Vishnu Dware Kare Krishna Asura Samhare. He says, when both the lords decided to come down together, and when there was a mixture, they thought of a plan. What was the plan? Athaiva Vishnu Takhan Krishnera Sharire. Vishnu decided to enter the body of Krishna. And Vishnu Dware Kare Krishna Asura Samvare. And Vishnu killed the demons through the body of Krishna. So externally it looked as if Krishna is killing. Externally the credit was given to Krishna. But actually, as far as Tattva is concerned, Kaviraj Goswami says it was that Vishnu who entered the body of Krishna, and whenever the demons came to Vrindavan, it was Vishnu, the aspect of the Supreme Lord. He killed the demons. Our Vrindavan Krishna doesn't know to kill demons. He is so straightforward. He is so innocent. He only knows to steal butter. He only knows to lie. He only knows to break butter pots. He knows to eat dirt from the ground. Our Lala doesn't know to kill demons. He is very sincere and very straightforward. But the job of killing demons belongs to Vishnu. So someone can be very afraid. They may think that Krishna, when he's coming down to kill demons, will he do the same thing even for the devotees? Is he ferocious or is he dangerous even for the devotees? Srila Prabhupada, in the early years of ISKCON in 26 2nd Avenue, when Prabhupada was there, so that time we didn't have deities as such. So Prabhupada had installed a small photograph of Narsinghadev. And as we know, in 1966-67, when San Francisco congregation was coming up, Prabhupada would switch between 26 2nd Avenue, that is New York, and San Francisco. So it so happened that Prabhupada installed a photograph in 26 2nd Avenue in New York, and then due to some reason, for preaching purpose, Prabhupada went to San Francisco. And then later, after a few months, when Srila Prabhupada again came back, he looked everywhere, but the photo of Narsinghadev was not to be seen anywhere. So Prabhupada was little perplexed. So he called his disciple and said, when I was here the last time, I remember installing a photo of Narsinghadev, but now I don't see that photo. Where did that photo go? So the disciples, in a very humble mood, they told Prabhupada that, my dear Prabhupada, when you went, many Westerners came to our center, and we thought to ourselves that maybe they will get afraid if they see the ferocious form of Narsinghadev. Because we see Narsinghadev so ferocious. He has Hiranyakashipu on his lap and just rips him apart. So the devotees were thinking to themselves, because these were the initial days, they told Prabhupada that, my dear Prabhupada, we feel that the newcomers who come, maybe they'll get afraid seeing this form of the Lord. So that is the reason we removed the photograph, so that they don't see the photo and they're not afraid. So Prabhupada smiled and he said, just like a cub, a lion's cub is never afraid of the mouth of the lion. Even though the teeth is sharp, those teeth are never death for its own cub. While for any other animal, the same teeth are death. Similarly, Prabhupada said, the Supreme Lord, for his own devotees, is very compassionate. He is very loving. He is like that mother lion. He will never cause any harm to his devotees. Why? Because his devotees very dearly love him. But the demons who are envious of the Supreme Lord, just like the example of the cub, the teeth is protection for the baby cub, or it's protection for the cub, while it is death personified for any other animal. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is protection for his devotees, while he is death personified for the demons. So Prabhupada later gave the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha adrishyatam adbhutarupamudvhan stambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. The 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam very beautifully describes this pastime of Narsingha and Prahlad. And Prabhupada quoted, he said that for his dear devotee, that is Prahlad, who was only 5 years old, The Supreme Lord came from a pillar. Sthambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. He came from a stamba, that is pillar, and sabhayam, he came in an assembly of people and ministers. He came in front of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So sthambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. He came in a form that was not a human and not an animal, a half human, half lion incarnation, half man, half lion incarnation. So Prabhupada gave this example and he said, for the devotees, the Supreme Lord always protects and he is ready to reciprocate with their love. But for the demons, he is death personified. So similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Anusanga karma jay asura maran. The killing of the demons, this is anusanga karma. Anusanga karma means there is secondary work. This is the secondary purpose. The Supreme Lord doesn't come down for this. The Supreme Lord can as well give a heart attack to Hiranyaksha, or he can give a heart attack to Hiranyakashipu or any other demons. He doesn't have to come down to kill the demons. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Anusanga karma jay asura maran. This is secondary work. So now the main question arises, what is the reason why Krishna comes down? What is the main characteristic? Because killing demons, we have understood that that is the job of Vishnu. But what is the reason of Krishna's descent? At that point, Kaviraj Goswami quotes the very famous verse, which most devotees around the world are familiar with. Kaviraj Goswami says, Prema rasa niryas korite aswadan rag marg bhakti loke korite pracharan rasika shekhara Krishna parama karuna ei dui hetu hoite ichhara udgama. He says, ei dui hetu ichhara udgama. Two ichhas, two desires manifested in the heart of the Supreme Lord. What were these two desires? Prema rasa niryas korite aswadan. The first desire that the Supreme Lord had in his heart is to taste the love of his pure devotees, to taste the love of the Brajvasis, to taste the love of the Navadvipvasis in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema rasa niryas korite aswadan. Even in Hindi, we say aswadan, aswad lena, aswadan lena, to taste. So the Supreme Lord came to taste the love of his pure devotees, that is the Brajvasis and Navadvipvasis. And what is the second purpose? Prema rasa niryas korite aswadan rag marg bhakti loke korite pracharan. So the first reason is he came to taste the love, while the second reason why the Supreme Lord descended is to give out that love, is to spread that love, is to preach about that love. Pracharan. Pracharan means to preach. In Hindi we say prachar karna. So to preach, the Supreme Lord came for two purposes: to taste the love of his devotees and to give out that love. So Kaviraj Goswami says these were the two desires that manifested in the heart of the Supreme Lord. And this is the reason why he came down. He doesn't come down to kill the demons. That is the job of Sthitikarta. It is the job of Vishnu. But loving, reciprocation with his devotees, that is Krishna's job. Krishna only now knows to love his devotees, to reciprocate to their love. But killing demons and bloodshed, that is the job of Vishnu. Our Lala, our Brajendra Nandan, our Devaki Nandan, our Yashomati Nandan, our Nanda Nandan. He doesn't know to kill demons. Aishwarya janite sab jagata mishrit, Aishwarya sthiti la prem nahi mora preet. But Krishna says, even after I come down, the whole world sees me as God. Aishwarya janite sab jagata mishrit. He says the whole world is enamored by my opulence, by my beauty. And they worship me in the form of awe and reverence. But Krishna says, Aishwarya sthiti la prem nahi mora preet. I respect that kind of love, but that love doesn't bind my heart. That love cannot control me. I respect that love, no doubt. Anyone who worships me in the form of God, I worship that personality. But that love cannot conquer my heart. That love cannot conquer me. It cannot control me. It cannot move me. Aishwarya janite sabha jagata mishrit. Aishwarya sthiti la prem nahi mora preet. And then Kaviraj Goswami goes on to say, Amare Ishware mane apana ki heen, tara prema vasha ami na hoy adin. He says that, so Krishna is speaking this. He says, Amare Ishware mane, someone who considers me as Ishwar, that is Bhagavan, and apana ki heen, and considers himself as subordinate. So Krishna is saying, someone who considers me as God, someone who considers me as someone very great, and apana ki heen, considers himself as very subordinate. Tara prema vasha amin na hoy adin. I don't become subordinate to that kind of love. I respect that kind of love. Anyone who considers themselves subordinate and anyone who considers me as God, I respect that kind of love. But Krishna says that love is not something I'm looking out for. That love doesn't control me. That if someone sees Krishna in the mode of awe and reverence, Krishna respects it, but that cannot bind Krishna. That cannot control the heart of Krishna. So now the question arises, what is the love that Sri Krishna is looking out for? So Kaviraj Goswami says, Mora putra, mora sakha, mora pranapati, ei bhave je more kare shuddha bhakti. Mora putra, someone who sees me as their dear child. Mora sakha, sees me as their friend. Mora pranapati, sees me in the form of a lover. That is the gopis of Vrindavan. So, Mora putra, seeing as one's child, that is in the form of Mother Yasoda, or Mora sakha, as friends of Sri Krishna, Subal, Madhumangal, Stoka Krishna, Kinkini, Vasudam, etc. Or Mora pranapati, looking at Krishna in the form of lover. Ei bhave je more kare shuddha bhakti. Krishna says, if you want to know what shuddha bhakti is, what pure devotional service is, well, if you worship me in any of these moods, that is looking at me in the form of a child, or considering me your friend, or considering me your lover, Krishna says that is the definition of pure devotional service, and that is something I am looking out for. Krishna is looking out for genuine reciprocal relationship where there are no strings attached. As Srila Prabhupada says, ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Bhakti means ahaituki, no strings attached. We don't demand anything from Krishna. And the Brajavasis, they exemplify this point. They never demanded anything from Krishna. They had nothing to do whether Krishna is God or not. Their faith, it never shook. Irrespective of how much ever Krishna showed his prowess by killing demons or swallowing forest fire, the friends and the Mother Yasoda and the gopis of Vrindavan, they were convinced that Krishna is not God. And even if he is God, our love for him doesn't diminish. So Krishna says, this is the love I'm looking out for. Mora putra, mora sakha, mora pranapati, ei bhave jay more kare shuddha bhakti. So then Kaviraj Goswami says, apana ke bada mane amara samahin. Now if someone considers himself great, apana ke bada mane, and amara samahin, and considers Krishna to be subordinate. Now this is a different kind of love. Apana ke bada mane, so considering ourselves great, and amara samahin, considering Krishna subordinate. Krishna says, this kind of love controls me. Because this is the love that I have not witnessed anywhere, where the devotee considers himself greater than the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, apana ke bada mane amara samahin. Someone considers himself great and considers me subordinate. Krishna says, that is the love I am looking out for. That is the love that controls my heart. Now, many times, I wouldn't use the word we, but at least I get the feeling that after doing some little service, I get the feeling that, oh, I'm very great. Apana ke bada mane, I'm very great. I'm very exalted. So this apana ke bada mane, which I am thinking, is not what Krishna means. The feeling that I have in the form of I being very great, that is false ego. That is not what Krishna is looking out for. What I possess, that is false ego. And false ego is something that is condemned throughout the scriptures. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Leela, in the beautiful narration when Srila Rupa Goswami with his brother Sri Vallabh, when they both go to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accompanied with Vallabha Bhatt. So Rupa and his brother, that is Sri Vallabh, who is not different from Anupam. Anupam was a name given by Nawab Hussain Shah, but his original name is Sri Vallabh. So Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabh, when they went to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu at that time was accompanied with Vallabha Bhatt. So at that time, when Vallabha Bhatt looked at Rupa Goswami, when he saw Rupa Goswami, he was very excited. And in excitement, he went ahead to embrace Rupa Goswami. Bhatta mili bare aaye, doi palaye dure, asprishya parāmr moi na chhuiya more. Bhatta mili bare aaye. When Bhatta, that is Vallabha Bhatt, wanted to meet Rupa Goswami, doi palaye dure, both the brothers started running. Both brothers, that is Sri Vallabh and Rupa Goswami, they started running when they saw Vallabha Bhatt coming to embrace them. Why? Because Rupa Goswami says, Asprishya parāmr moi na chhuiya more. I am asprishya, I am untouchable, and I am parāmr, I am a low class, I am coming from a very low caste. Na chhuiya more, please don't touch me. Rupa Goswami, who's the fountainhead of this sampradaya, is saying, I am asprishya and I am parāmr. I am untouchable and I am coming from a low class. Now the question may arise. Someone may ask, oh, why is Rupa Goswami saying this? Prabhupada, in that purport, he answers this question. He says that even though Rupa Goswami came from a very aristocratic family, he had a Brahminical birth, but because he associated with Nawab Hussain Shah, who was a Muslim ruler, and he was so abominable because of his dealings with other kings, Prabhupada says, because of his association with Nawab Hussain Shah, Rupa Goswami considered himself as untouchable. Mahaprabhu didn't say that, and no one proclaimed that Rupa Goswami is untouchable. But Rupa Goswami, out of his humility, not false ego, but out of his genuine humility, we can understand that Rupa Goswami, who is so exalted, we are followers of Rupa Goswami, we are Rupanugas. Rupa Goswami could have easily said, oh, please come, please embrace me. I am the greatest. I am the fountainhead of the sampradaya. But he didn't do that. Even though he is worthy of that, he didn't do that. He said, I am asprishya parāmr moi na chhuiya more. Please don't touch me. I am very low class. So when this was said, Bhattera vismay hoela prabhura harshaman, when he heard, who heard? Bhatta, Vallabha Bhatt. When Vallabha Bhatt heard this, Bhattera vismay hoela, he became surprised. He became astonished. He thought to himself, why is Rupa Goswami saying this? Bhattera vismay hoela prabhura harshaman. But the Supreme Lord became very happy hearing the words of Rupa Goswami, seeing the humility of Sri Rupa Goswami. And at that point, the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, decided to test Vallabha Bhatt. Because Vallabha Bhatt was very scholarly. He was very knowledgeable. So the Supreme Lord decided to test him. The Supreme Lord, he said, Iho nasparshya, iho jatiyati hin, vaidika yagnika tumi kulina praveen. He says, Iho nasparshya, oh, don't touch him. Iho jatiyati hin, he is very low. Why? He says, because he is associated with Nawab Hussain Shah. But in this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't touch him, and he is very low class. He is coming from a low caste. Vaidika yagnika tumi. You are Vaidika. You have gone through all the Vedas. And you are Yagnika. You have done all the sacrifices. You have done all the yagnas. And Kulina Praveen, you come from a very aristocratic birth. You come from a good Brahminical birth. You are not supposed to go and touch someone who is abominable, someone who is untouchable. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was testing here. He was testing Vallabha Bhatt, and he wanted to see what Vallabha Bhatt replies. Because we all know Rupa Goswami is very exalted. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to check, he wanted to feel the pulse of Vallabha Bhatt. He wanted to see how much Shastra he has understood. So at that point, when Mahaprabhu decides to test, it's a surprise test, which he didn't see it coming. But when Mahaprabhu decided to test, Vallabha Bhatt, who was so proficient in Shastra, he said, "Ei dui mukhe Krishna naam kariye nartana, ei dui adham nahi hoye sarvottama." My dear Lord, Krishna naam kariye nartana, ei dui mukhe. In their tongue, Krishna naam is vibrating. The Supreme Lord is dancing on their tongue 24/7. Ei dui adham nahi hoye sarvottama. My dear Lord, they are not adham. They are not low class. They are not untouchable. Well, they're sarvottam. They're Vaishnav Chudamani. They're the best among devotees, my Lord. So this is such an important point, that anyone who's constantly chanting the holy name, irrespective of whoever he is, whatever past he has, if the tongue is always vibrating the holy name, he is not adham, he is sarvottam. And Vallabha Bhatt, who has gone through all the Shastras, is telling this to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the point interesting to note here is, Rupa Goswami didn't think himself as sarvottam. He considered himself as adham. He did not have any false ego. He was so humble that he did not have any false ego in his heart. So Krishna is saying, apana ke bada mane, someone who considers himself great, and amara samahin, and considers me subordinate, I come under the grasp of such kind of love. So Rupa Goswami is the best example. Even though he was great, out of his humility he didn't accept. He considered himself very fallen. And Krishna gets attracted to such kind of love. Because internally they're exalted, but externally they consider themselves very fallen. Srila Prabhupada, or I put it this way, in one of the memories of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Guru Kripa Swami, he narrates a very beautiful experience of his with Srila Prabhupada. He says, once it so happened that when the Krishna Balaram temple was being built, 1975, when that beautiful temple was being built, many disciples of Prabhupada were contributing and helping. And at that time, Guru Kripa Swami was in charge of the funds. So one day at 1 o'clock at night, Srila Prabhupada told the servant, go and call Guru Kripa. So the servant said, Prabhupada, now? He said, yes, go and call him. So the servant went and he woke him up and he said, Prabhupada is calling you. So Guru Kripa Swami looked at the watch. 1 o'clock at night. He said, Prabhupada is calling me now? 1 at night? He said, yes, Prabhupada is calling you. So he washed his face and he went and he said, yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada asked, what were you doing? So Guru Kripa Swami looked at the watch and said, Prabhupada, it's 1 o'clock at night. I was sleeping. Prabhupada said, it is 1 o'clock for me also. I am not sleeping. So Guru Kripa Swami didn't know what to say. So he said, Prabhupada, I am very tired. Yesterday I did a lot of service. I am very tired. Prabhupada said, you think I am not doing service? I am also very tired. I am very old, but still I am not sleeping. So Guru Kripa Swami didn't understand what to say. So he used a Brahmastra. He said, Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee. You are a Paramhamsa. So Prabhupada shot back by saying, why are you not a Paramhamsa? He said, why are you not a pure devotee? What is stopping you from becoming a pure devotee? So Guru Kripa Swami didn't know what to say. So he said, Prabhupada, what do you expect from me? What should I do? Prabhupada said, go back to sleep. He said, go back to sleep. 1 o'clock at night. So when he was going back, Guru Kripa Swami in his memories, he says, when this whole instance happened, I got a feeling that maybe I am starting to think that I am the doer. I am starting to think that I am someone very great. And Prabhupada, being the spiritual master, understood this. And that is the reason he woke me at 1 o'clock at night to teach me a lesson that you are not great. Don't consider yourself as the doer. Everything happens because of the will of Sri Krishna. Krishna orchestrates everything. So Guru Kripa Swami, in his humility, he says that maybe I thought I'm someone very great, and Krishna, or I would say Srila Prabhupada, wanted to teach me a lesson. He wanted to teach me that don't think that you're someone very great. But Kaviraj Goswami, in relation to the Brajvasis, he's saying that this is the love that Krishna is expecting. Apana ke bada mane amara samahin. Krishna says, I become subservient to that kind of love. Mata more putra bhave kare na bandhan, ati hi na jnana kare lala na palan. Now the mother is described, Mother Yasoda. Mata more putra bhave kare na bandhan. My mother, out of pure parental affection, she loves me so much. Ati hi na jnana kare lala na palan. She considers me helpless. The Supreme Lord, who is Lord of all lords, because of whose will even a blade of grass doesn't move, that Supreme Lord is considered helpless by Mother Yasoda. That is the love of Mother Yasoda. Ati hi na jnana kare lala na palan. Mother Yasoda considers Krishna helpless, and in that mood, in the mood of child, she nourishes and takes care of Krishna. Now Kaviraj Goswami goes to describe the friends of Krishna. He says, Sakhā Shuddha Sakhya Kare Skanda Arohan Tumi Kon Bada Lok Tumi Amisham. Sakhā Shuddha Sakhya Kare. The Sakhas out of pure friendship, Sakhya Ras, Skanda Arohan, they climb on the shoulders of Krishna. And what do they say? Climbing on the shoulders of Krishna, they say, Tumi Kon Bada Lok Tumi Amisham. Krishna, what kind of big person are you? You think you're someone big? You're not anyone big, Krishna. Tumi Amisham, we are the same. We are one and the same. When Sri Krishna, when he went to Mathura, he promised the Brajvasis that he will return in 2-3 days after killing Kamsa Maharaj. And when he killed Kamsa, at that time, out of love for Sri Krishna, in the mode of separation, Sri Dhama reached Vrindavan. Sri Dhama reached Mathura to meet Krishna. And when he reached there, he saw that Krishna has killed Kamsa. So he looked at Krishna and said, you killed Kamsa? So Krishna said, yes, I killed Kamsa. Sri Dhama says, you cannot be Krishna. So Krishna says, why? Why cannot I be Krishna? Sri Dhama says, because my Krishna is not so powerful. He is not powerful. He cannot do anything. I every day defeat him in all the games. I sit on his shoulders. I punch him. My Krishna is not so powerful. You cannot be Krishna. So Krishna, he says, oh Sridhama, how can I prove it to you? I am the same Vrindavan Krishna. How can I prove it to you? So Sridhama says, if you are that Krishna, I want to wrestle with you. I want to have a battle with you. Krishna says, okay. Amidst the dead body of Kamsa Maharaj, Krishna and Sridhama have a wrestling match. Amidst the dead body, Krishna and Sridhama have a wrestling match, and it is said Sridhama defeated Krishna. Sridhama defeated Krishna, and he was standing on top of Krishna. And he said, confirmed, he has to be Krishna. Why? Because I defeated him. He said, because I defeated him. He said, my Krishna is so weak and he's so innocent and straightforward. He cannot defeat Kamsa Maharaj. And Sridhama was convinced. He said, he cannot defeat him. And then finally, Sridhama said, you have to be the same Krishna. Why? Because I defeated you now. So amidst the dead body of Kuvalaya, Pid and Chanur and Mushtik and Kamsa Maharaj, Sridhama and Krishna had a wrestling match and Sridhama even defeated him. So Kaviraj Goswami is making this point. The Sakhas love Krishna so much. Sakhā Shuddha Sakhya Kare Skanda Arohan. They sit on the shoulders of Krishna and say, Tumi Kona Bada Lok Tumi Amisham. Krishna, what kind of big person are you? You are not anyone big. You and I are same. Tumi Amisham. We are equals. Krishna, you are not anyone big. Priya yadi man kari koro e bhartsan. Veda stuti hoite hara sei mora man. Now Kaviraj Goswami goes on to describe the Priya that is the gopis of Vrindavan. Priya yadi mana kare korve bharsan. Krishna says, if the gopis of Vrindavan chastise me, when I steal butter, the gopis of Vrindavan chastise me. But Krishna says that chastisement is more pleasing to my ears than the Vedic hymns. The stutis and the mantras that are chanted throughout the scriptures, Krishna says, I respect that. But my heart is more affectionate. My ears feel more happy. I get so much joy and bliss when the gopis of Vrindavan, when they chastise me. Priya yadi mana kare korvaya bharsan Veda stuti haite hara. My mind gets stolen away from the Veda stutis. So this is the love that Krishna is looking out for. He gives this example through Mother Yasoda. He is giving this example to their friends. He is giving the example through the Priyas, that is the gopis of Vrindavan. And then Krishna says, with such kind of devotees, I will descend. These are the kind of devotees with whom I will descend down and I will perform my pastimes in Vrindavan to such an extent that even the Vaikuntha-vasis would have not seen these pastimes. Krishna says even the Vaikuntha-vasis would be desiring to see these pastimes. Even they would have not seen any of these pastimes. But I, to reciprocate to the love of the devotees and to taste their love, for these two purposes, I will come down with my eternal associate in the form of Mother Yasoda, in the form of my friends, in the form of the gopis of Vrindavan. And this is sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam of Sri Krishna. So Satyavrata Muni, when he says namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam, when he's describing godly nature, when he's describing Krishna, this is how much depth it has. It's been almost an hour and we are discussing this, the first line of this epic narration. Now Satyavrata Muni goes on to the next line. He describes the parivar vishesh. He describes Gokul. What is special about Gokul? Kaviraj Goswami, he does a wordplay on the word Gokul. He says, Gokulair Gokulam Ninye, Gokulam Gokulair Haran, Gokulam Gokulas Trinam, Gokulair Gokuleshwaraha. Kaviraj Goswami, he says, when the Lord of Gokul, that is Gokuleshwar, when the Lord of Gokul entered Gokul with his Gokul, so Go means cows and Kul means group. So when the Lord of Gokul, that is Krishna, when the Lord of Gokul entered Gokul with his Gokul, that is cows, the gopis of Vrindavan looked at the Lord of Gokul with all their Gokul. So Go also means senses and Kula means group. So when the Lord of Gokul entered Gokul with his cows, that is Gokul, the gopis of Vrindavan looked at the Lord of Gokul with all their Gokul, that is the group of their senses. This is a beautiful wordplay that Kaviraj Goswami does with the word Gokul. But the point here that arises is, why are the gopis of Vrindavan looking at Krishna? What is so special about Krishna? What is the reason why the gopis leave everything to run to just look at Krishna? So that Satyavrata Muni answers by speaking about the Roop Vishesh, that is lasat-kundalam. So we described the Tattva Vishesh, that is the first line, that is namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. Then we described about Gokul, that is Parivar Vishesh. Then we are now speaking as to why the gopis are enamored by the beauty of Sri Krishna. Why are they looking at Sri Krishna? Why are their hearts captivated by the beauty of Krishna? Satyavrata Muni answers that by saying lasat-kundalam. Now he is describing the earrings of Krishna. Now someone can have these questions. Why are the earrings described? Why aren't any other ornaments described? Well, our acharyas say that our beautiful chubby Krishna, when he is running here and there in the house stealing butter with the monkeys, when Krishna is running here and there, the earrings move back and forth. They start swinging. We see even in this world, when the female, when they have earring and when they walk, generally it is seen that the earrings move. Similarly, Sri Krishna, when he wears his earring, And when he's running, the earrings start moving back and forth. And it is said the earrings are so fortunate. Why? It is said the earrings are so fortunate because they move back and forth, and every time they move back and forth, they kiss the beautiful pink chubby cheeks of Sri Krishna. Satyavrata Muni says that opportunity is not given to any other ornament. Only the earrings have this opportunity of kissing Krishna's cheek. Apart from Mother Yasoda, it is only the earrings. And that is why Satyavrata Muni describes the earrings of Sri Krishna. He is describing the form of Sri Krishna. It is said that Krishna is so beautiful, sometimes he himself gets stunned. He goes and looks at the mirror and he's so stunned looking at his own beauty, and he thinks to himself, who is this person who is so beautiful? Krishna, being Bhagavan, cannot understand, cannot comprehend his own beauty. So Satyavrata Muni, he describes the earrings. And to this, Uddhavji in 3rd canto, he very nicely gives an attribute about the ornaments of Sri Krishna. But before we go into what the ornaments mean or what Uddhavji has to say, it is very important to know who Uddhav is. Because till the time we don't know who the composer or author is, till that time it becomes difficult to appreciate the work of the author or composer. So who's Uddhav? The 10th canto, chapter 46, text 1 describes this personality Uddhav. It says, Vrishninam pravara mantri Krishnasya daita sakha sakshad brahaspati shishyo Uddhavo buddhisattamaha. Who is Uddhav? Vrishninam pravara mantri. When the Vrishnis would have a problem, they would go to the mantris. Who are the mantris? Mantris are those personalities who resolve a problem by giving mantras. Anyone who gives mantra and resolves a problem is called a mantri. So Vrishninam pravara mantri. When the Vrishnis would have a problem, they would go to the mantris, but when the mantris would have a problem, they would go to a pravara mantri. And who is that pravara mantri? It is Uddhav. That is Uddhav's position. And Krishnasya daitha sakha, and is Krishna's very dear friend. It is not said that Uddhav's dear friend is Krishna. It is said Krishna's friend is Uddhav. Now, if tomorrow I say that my friend is Narendra Modi, or if I say that I want to meet Narendra Modi, well, there are so many people in this world who desire and aspire to meet Narendra Modi. But if I say Narendra Modi wants to meet me, oh, well, that's a very big statement. If I say the Prime Minister of the country wants to meet me, that's a very big statement. So here in this line, it is not said that Uddhav's friend is Krishna. It is said Krishna's friend is Uddhav. Krishna considers his friend as Uddhav. So that's a very big statement. Vrishninam pravara mantri Krishnasya daita sakha sakshad brahaspati shishyo. And who's Uddhav? He's Brahaspati Shishyo. Sakshat Brahaspati Shishyo. Now Brahaspati has a very unique way of teaching. Brahaspati teaches one personality and they go on to teach another 5, and that 5 go on to teach another 10, and that 10 go on to teach another 20, and so on and so forth. So Brahaspati initially teaches only one person. But in the case of Uddhav, Sakshad Brahaspati Shishyo, Brahaspati himself sat down to teach Uddhav. And to add to this, the league of Brahaspati's disciples is, all his disciples are demigods, while Uddhav is the only human disciple. Uddhavji is the only human disciple of Brahaspati. So that is why it is said, Vrishninam pravara mantri Krishnasya daita sakha sakshat Brahaspati shishyo Uddhavo buddhisattama. And that is why Uddhav is very intelligent. Why? Because he is a pravara mantri, he is Krishna's dear friend, and he is sakshat Brahaspati shishyo. He is the own disciple of Brahaspati. So now we can understand who Uddhav is. This personality Uddhav is now speaking about the ornament of Sri Krishna. In the third canto of the Bhagavatam, he says, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. He says the quality of Krishna's ornament. What is the quality of Krishna's ornament? Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. The ornaments of Sri Krishna don't increase the beauty of Sri Krishna, while Krishna ornaments the ornaments. The ornaments get ornamented by the beauty of Krishna. The ornaments don't beautify Krishna, but instead it is said, Uddhavji is saying, Krishna ornaments the ornaments. That is the beauty of Sri Krishna. Krishna is that beautiful. In this world, when someone wears ornaments, the ornaments beautify the person. But for Krishna, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't function that way. Uddhavji is saying for Krishna, the ornaments get ornamented by the beauty of Shri Krishna. So he says, lasat-kundalam, that is the glory of Krishna's earring. So, namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam lasat-kundalam gokule bhrājamanam. This form of the Lord, he came down 5,000 years back in the form of Shri Krishna. He came down 500 years back in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But for us, even now, he is present in the form of deities. We should always remember that the Murti form of the Lord, the deity form of the Lord, is not different from the Sri Krishna in the pages of the Bhagavatam. The Krishna in the pages of the Bhagavatam and Krishna in Murti form are one and the same. There is no difference. His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he narrates a very beautiful pastime, and this is a very interesting pastime and a real pastime that occurred. In the Gita Nagari farm that is there in Philadelphia in America, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was once doing arti. So for those who are not aware, the Gita Nagari farm is one of the most famous farms here in America, and it spans over acres and acres of land. And that was very dear to the heart of Srila Prabhupada. So similar to the Govardhan Eco Village that is there in Mumbai, we have the Gita Nagari farm in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. So once His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was in the altar and he was doing arti. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj narrates that at that time, the Gita Nagari farm was in a problem. What was the problem? The farm had $30,000 balloon payment that was remaining. $30,000 was still remaining to be paid. And these $30,000 were about 25 years back. $30,000 even now is a lot of amount. It's a huge amount. But $30,000 25 years back, well, that's a very huge amount. And the farm did not have so much money. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was thinking to himself, what should we do? Prabhupada loved this farm so much. It was very dear to his heart. And we don't want to give this farm away. But at the same time, we don't have money. So what should we do? So when Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was in the altar and he was showing his, doing arti to the Supreme Lord. At that time, he was praying to the Lord that, my dear Lord, please help. I don't know from where we are going to arrange this money. So when he was doing the arti, in his heart, in the form of Paramatma, he felt as if the Supreme Lord is saying something. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj narrates, he says that I felt the Supreme Lord told me, Henry. That's it. The Supreme Lord just said a name, Henry. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was saying, no, Krishna, not Henry. Now the interesting history to this personality, Henry, is he comes from a very aristocratic family, and the devotees would always go to him as far as money is concerned. They would always pester him for money. They would not go to him for anything else, but when it came to money, they would go behind him. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, no, Krishna, I cannot go to Henry. What will he think? A sannyasi is coming to him to beg for money. And that is not correct. He should not get the feeling that we are just behind money. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, no, I will not go to Henry. Give me some other alternative. But the Paramatma inside said, Henry, Henry, Henry. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj didn't know what to do. So when the arti was done, he looked back and Henry was sitting on a wooden bench in the temple. So the arti was done and Bhaktitirtha Maharaj came off the altar and he wanted to go to this person Henry, but Maharaj was very hesitant. But still the Paramatma inside was saying, no, go to him, go to Henry, go to Henry. So Bhaktitirtha Maharaj went to him and Bhaktitirtha Maharaj started narrating that this Gita Nagari farm, as you know, there is $30,000 balloon payment that is still remaining. And the moment he said that, Henry said, don't worry, I have something to tell you. Henry said, 2 weeks back, I had signed for a lottery. So around the world we find there is lottery that goes on and many people play, especially in America. Lottery is very prominent. Gambling is it's widely seen. We don't find it much in India at least, but at least in America, it's very common. So he said that I had taken part in a lottery, and interestingly, it so happened that I won the lottery 2 weeks back, and in the form of prize, they gave me a car. But he said, I'm coming from such an affluent family. Well, he didn't say it that way, but it is understood that he came from a very affluent family. And because he was so rich, he decided to sell the car away. Because he was interested in the money and not the car, because he already had the car. So he told Bhaktitirtha Maharaj that I won the lottery, I won the car as the prize money, as the prize, and then I sold the car. And believe me or not, when I sold the car, I got $30,000 as the amount. Mr. Henry sold the car for $30,000 and he said, my dear Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, don't worry. I think it is the Supreme Lord's desire. I think it is the Supreme Lord's desire that he wants me to serve you. He wants me to act as an instrument in helping save this Gita Nagari farm. And it is said, Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, he narrates, he says, when Henry gave the $30,000 that he had won in the form of lottery, that was the money that was given to repay the balloon payment. And that is how the devotees saved the Gita Nagari farm. So Bhaktitirtha Maharaj's offering, he was saying that this is the real pastime that took place. And he said we should never think to ourselves that the deity form of the Lord and Krishna, that whom we find in the pages of the Bhagavatam, are not different. They are one and the same Krishna, and Krishna, he is ready to reciprocate with us in the form of the deities. So namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam lasat-kundalam gokule bhrājamanam. This Supreme Lord for us is coming down in the form of the deities. Now we go to the last part of our discussion. yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānam parāmr atyantato gopyā. Now this describes the Leela part of the pastime. As we all know, Sri Krishna was resting on the lap of Mother Yasoda, and Mother Yasoda was feeding her milk to Sri Krishna. And at that time, as we know, the milk on the stove that was kept, that started to boil, that started to increase, it started coming up. Now our predecessor acharyas, they comment, they say that the milk started to think to itself that here is Sri Krishna, the Lord of all Lords, the Supreme Master. The Supreme Master is enjoying, accepting service from his dear devotee, that is Mother Yasoda, and his dear devotee Mother Yasoda is willingly and lovingly wanting to offer service to the Supreme Lord. In this way, eternally the Supreme Lord will be taking service from his pure devotee, and eternally the pure devotee would be granting service to the Supreme Lord. And if eternally this keeps going on, what is my use? What is the use of my existence? And thinking thus, the milk on the stove, it decided to come up in the mood of committing suicide by jumping into the fire. We would have all heard this commentary. The milk came up and decided to jump into the fire. At that point, Mother Yasoda, who was there, now very important point comes up here. Mother Yasoda at that time was in a dilemma. whether to attend to Krishna or to attend to the milk that has been collected from the 999,000 cows. As we know, Nanda Maharaj had 999,000 cows, and after milking all the cows and getting the best milk possible for Sri Krishna, that was the milk that was kept on the stove. And here, Mother Yasoda was in a dilemma whether to give milk to Sri Krishna, whether to attend to Sri Krishna here, or whether to go and attend to the milk on the stove. Now, many times even devotees have this doubt whether to do A or whether to do B, whether to do service A or whether to do service B. This point, when I was hearing this pastime, I remembered a very beautiful point which devotees had told me. And this is pertaining to Sripad Ayendra Prabhu. Now, Ayendra Prabhu, as we all know, had his beautiful deities Nitai Sachi Suta. And His Grace Vrindavan Prabhu, who was the Mridanga player for Ayendra Prabhu, he narrates in his pastimes, in his memories, that when Ayendra Prabhu would have a dilemma whether to do A or whether to do B, what Ayendra Prabhu would do is, now this is something which even devotees can apply in their life. What Ayendra Prabhu would do is, he would take two chits, and in both the chits he would write both the services, that is A and B. And he would wrap the chit and place it at the lotus feet of Nitai Sachi Suta. He would place it at the feet of Nitai and Gauranga. He would shuffle them and place it at the Lord's lotus feet. And after some time, Ayendra Prabhu would come and pick the chit that is there. And whatever the chit read, Ayendra Prabhu would do that service. So this is something which I felt even devotees can do when we are in a dilemma whether to do A or B. We can take two chits and fold them and place that in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord by shuffling them, and after some time we can pick one chit, and whatever the chit reads, we can accept that as the will of the Supreme Lord. So Ayendra Prabhu would do that. So here in this case we find Mother Yasoda was in a dilemma whether to attend to Krishna or whether to attend to the milk. And as we all know, Mother Yasoda kept Krishna down and she attended to the milk that is there on the stove. Now when she kept Krishna down, she did not please Krishna. As we know, Krishna became very angry and he took a stone and he threw the stone at the butter pot, and the milk or the buttermilk that was there, that started flowing. And when Krishna did that, when that activity was done, Krishna went to the another room and started stealing butter, and not just eating for himself but started giving it to the monkeys. Now at this point another lesson comes up. When Krishna was kept down, Mother Yasoda did not please Krishna. Krishna was not happy. That's the reason he threw the stone. Now if we see in Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, how does Rupa Goswami define bhakti? He says, Anyahabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhi anabhritam anukulena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. He says bhakti is something that gives joy to Krishna's heart, that pleases Krishna's senses, that pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now if we see, when Krishna was kept down, Mother Yasoda did not please Krishna. Krishna was very angry. While on the flip side, while on the contrary, when Hiranyaksha was slamming Varahadev out of Veera Ras was deriving so much happiness. He was deriving so much joy. Every time Hiranyaksha was slamming the arms of Varahadev with a club, Hiranyaksha would roar and he would love that so much. So as far as technicality is concerned, Hiranyaksha was pleasing the Supreme Lord, while at the same time Mother Yasoda was not pleasing the Supreme Lord because she kept to the Supreme Lord to the ground. But Rupa Goswami, he adds something to this. He says that pleasing the Lord is one thing, but our intention to please the Lord also matters. Hiranyaksha, when he was slamming Varahadev, Sure enough, he was pleasing the Supreme Lord, but his intention was not to please the Lord. While on the contrary, Mother Yasoda, when she kept Krishna down, she was not pleasing the Supreme Lord, but her intention was to please Krishna. Why? Because she went to attend to the milk which can later be given to Sri Krishna. So Rupa Goswami says, pleasing Krishna is one thing, but our intention to please Krishna is also very important. And that is the reason Mother Yasoda is kept on the altar and worshipped, while Hiranyaksha, even though he pleased the Supreme Lord, he is not worshipped. So here, Mother Yasoda, when she kept Krishna down and when Krishna became angry, Krishna went to another room and was feeding the butter to the monkeys. At that point, we have seen the famous photograph where Mother Yasoda is standing with a stick and Krishna is terrified. He is terrified seeing the whipping stick of his mother, and at that point, Krishna begins to run. Krishna starts running and running and running. He starts running for his life. That Supreme Lord, who as Nrsingadev rips apart Hiranyakashipu, as Varahadev defeats Hiranyaksha, as Parshuram travels the globe 21 times with lakes and lakes of blood, that Supreme Lord is running for his life in the love or in fear of Mother Yasoda's whipping stick. And Mother Yasoda, as we know, is running behind. And at that time, Mother Yasoda has beautiful flowers on her head. Our acharyas at this point, they say that the flowers were thinking to themselves. The flowers were thinking that here is a person, that is Mother Yasoda, who is running behind the Supreme Lord in an attempt to catch him and bind him. The munis and yogis are doing penances for so many years, but they are not able to catch Krishna. But here is Mother Yasoda, in pure genuine love, is wanting or is attempting to catch Sri Krishna and bind him. So the flowers begin to think to themselves that our position is not at the head of Mother Yasoda, but our position is actually at the feet of Mother Yasoda. And because of this reason, the flowers that are there on the head, they fall at the lotus feet of Mother Yasoda as an offering that, my dear Mother Yasoda, all glories to you. You are trying to do something that is impossible. You are trying to do something that has never been done in the past. And we, as the flowers, want to express our love and gratitude to you by staying at your lotus feet. Our position is not at your head, but our position is at your divine lotus feet. And thinking such, the flowers, they fall to the lotus feet of Mother Yasoda. Another important point. So this is as far as the Leela is concerned. But what can we learn from the flowers? To this, the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, in the narration in the conversation between Shukracharya and Bali Maharaj. Shukracharya, he says, Satyam pushpa phalam vidya atma brikshasya giyate. And to this, my holy spiritual master, Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj, he comments from the commentary of Sridhar Swami. And he says that the human body is compared to the tree. So, just like the tree that we have, a tree is considered only for its fruits and flowers. If the tree doesn't have fruits and flowers, if the tree is devoid of fruits and flowers, then the tree is not regarded. It is as well considered dead. So the tree is known for the fruits and flowers. Similarly, Srila Guru Maharaj was quoting Sridhar Swami and Shukracharya here and saying the human body is like that of the tree. And what do the flowers indicate? The flowers indicate good speech. Good speech in the form of hope-giving speech, giving assurance to someone, giving hope to someone. When someone is in a problem and someone comes up to us, we don't deny them. We don't say harsh words to them. But in fact, Srila Guru Maharaj was saying, we speak in a palatable way that gives happiness and joy to the heart of that person. So the body is considered the tree and the flowers are the hope-giving words. And when the hope-giving words are translated to activities, they are the fruits. When the hope-giving words get translated to the activities, when we do what we promised, that are the fruits. So Srila Guru Maharaj at this point, he was saying it is very important that speech, he was quoting Mother Yasoda, and he was saying that flowers that are there, they are indicating this point that to have access, to have entrance into Vrindavan, good speech is very much important. Without having good speech, no one can have access to Vrindavan. And this is exactly the same point Rupa Goswami hammers in Nectar of Instruction. The first verse, he starts off by saying, Vacho Vegam. He says that to enter into Vrindavan, the first requirement is good speech. Without having good speech, no one can have access to Braj. This is exactly the lesson that Mother Yasoda is teaching through the flowers that are adorned on her forehead. She's wanting to say that without good speech, no one can have access to Braj Mandal. No one can enter Vrindavan Dham. So in this way, Mother Yasoda is running behind Krishna. And as we know, Mother Yasoda ran with greater speed to catch Sri Krishna. And to wrap it up, I would just want to make this point that we have all seen that Mother Yasoda runs behind Sri Krishna and catches and binds him. But it's very worthy to note and ponder that if we draw parallels with Kalayavan, the demon, and Mother Yasoda, the parallels drawn is Kalayavan was also running behind Krishna. Mother Yasoda was also running behind Krishna. But Kalayavan, being a Kshatriya, having a very good athletic body, even though he ran behind Krishna, he could never get Krishna. While on the flip side, Mother Yasoda is a simple village girl, is a simple village lady in Braj Mandal. When she ran behind Krishna, she was able to catch Krishna and even bind Krishna. So how do we understand this paradox? Ideally, Kalayavan should have caught Krishna because he is more fit as far as physical ability is concerned, while Mother Yasoda should not have caught Krishna because she is a female and her body is not that of a Kshatriya. She is not accustomed to run behind someone. But that is not how it happened. Kalayavan could not catch Krishna or not even come close to Krishna, while Mother Yasoda came close, caught Krishna, even bound him with the ropes. The way we can understand this is, even though Kalayavan had the physical ability, was physically very fit, but his heart was very heavy with anarthas. His heart was filled with kama, krodha, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy. His physical ability was perfect, but his heart was filled with all these anarthas. While on the contrary, Mother Yasoda, physical ability wise, she shouldn't have caught Krishna because she is a simple village girl. But her heart was very light. She did not have any anarthas in the form of kama, krodha, lobha, mad, matsarya. She did not have any of these things. But she had only one thing in her heart: love for Sri Krishna. And that is the reason Mother Yasoda could catch Krishna and bind him with the ropes of divine love, while Kalayavan, even though he ran behind Krishna, could not catch Krishna. So in this way, Satyavrata Muni describes the first verse of this beautiful narration. Namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam lasat-kun gokule bhrājamanam yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānam parāmr atyantato drutya gopyā. And in this way, he describes 7 more verses. So we can just imagine if one verse, it took us almost 1 hour and 30 minutes. If one verse can go so deep, what to speak of the remaining verses. So we have another 7 verses this way. And then we have a whole chapter in the Bhagavatam with the commentaries of our dear Srila Prabhupada. And to add to that, we have commentaries of predecessor acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti and Shripad Sanatan Goswami. So there is so much juice and so much nectar to this beautiful pastime that one human life is very short. So in this way, I would want to conclude by just saying that may our hearts become pure like that of Mother Yasoda. That if we get the mercy and blessings of Mother Yasoda and Krishna's friends and the gopis of Vrindavan, may one day our hearts and mind be completely cleansed by hearing again and again these beautiful pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And may one day we get access to witness these pastimes in front of our eyes. Having said this, I would want to humbly stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.